My goodness, there's so much to talk about. So, first of all, it's a story that's in probably all the newspapers this morning. In fact, on the front page of the Star, the front page of, well, the Sowetan is not really leading with it. But the Business Day has this story on their front page. The Sowetan has it somewhere in their inside the paper. But it's about the editor of the Sunday Times, Makhudu Sefara, who has now been placed on special leave after being probed by the Special Investigating Unit. And he was implicated in an SIU probe about misappropriated lottery funds. He, of course, has refuted the allegation, saying that the SIU is grandstanding and making false claims. So if you missed it, yesterday the SIU came up with revelations of a probe that they've been working on. And they said that there is a company that received 3.2 million rand from beneficiaries related to the National Lotteries Commission. And those are the people who unduly benefited. So the amount is made up of 1.5 million rand that was misappropriated by Todi Media Development Foundation, NPC, and 1.71 million rand unduly awarded to Zipsiflo NPC. Now, the probe found that the commission granted Todi Media 1.5 million rand in 2018 that was intended for a media project that included covering journalists, accommodation, car hire, catering, equipment, guest speakers, marketing, and security. And instead of being used for that purpose, the SIU said 550,000 rand was then diverted to an entity called Unscripted Communications. And this is where now Makhudu Sefara comes in, who's the editor of the Sunday Times. So his company received 550,000 rand, which the SIU believes was diverted to that entity. And the wording is important here. When you say something is diverted, you're essentially suggesting that that money was sent there and the original purpose of that funding and money wasn't where it's now sent to. Hence the word diversion. But what the editor of the Sunday Times said, Makhudu Sefara, is that this is not true. He says he did host a media event and the 550,000 rand that was sent to his company was actually used for accommodation. In fact, he put together a community media training event. He said the event was held on December 10th, 2018 at the Birchwood Hotel in the east of Johannesburg. There were 50 people in attendance and he has provided pictures. I think he posted a picture of like the cover page of the event. But he also says he's got pictures, he's got videos that were taken at the event. He says there's proof that accommodation was paid for, flights were booked and paid for. The event apparently was even addressed by the GCIS deputy head at the time. And Sefara has provided, according to the Business Day, has provided the newspaper with the images of attendees at the event and even the receipts of payments made to various service providers for the event. And the Business Day newspaper said they're still verifying the veracity of those receipts. But here's where the challenge is. So Sefara, this editor of the Sunday Times, didn't receive money directly from the national lotteries. The money was actually received by a gentleman whose surname is, his name is Kutso Daniel Makwela. He is the director of Todi Media. So when he received this 1.5 million rand, he took 550,000 of it and sent it to the Sunday Times editors company. So you could argue then that the Sunday Times editors company was subcontracted then to organize this media event. So he is now placed on special leave because the Arena Media says he has to go and deal with these issues. They're giving him space to respond appropriately and just manage this. He has stepped down as the chair of SANEF as well, the South African National Editors Forum. So I would like to know what you think could be at play here on 011-883-0702. He is not happy with the SIU because he says the facts are plain and available to the SIU. The event took place, was attended by people. There are receipts that he's provided to the SIU. So if really he's shown the SIU that, look, I paid for accommodation, I paid for transport for these journalists to come for media training. Look, we paid the Birchwood Hotel. If he's provided that evidence to the SIU, why then would they still include him in the statement and say money was diverted to him for purposes that were not intended for the original funding? That's where my confusion is. And do we have the SIU? The SIU hasn't responded yet, but we wanted them to come and confirm whether indeed they've seen these receipts that Makhudu Sefara has provided to them. And that's really where my confusion is. I'd like to know if they've looked at the receipts, have they confirmed with the Birchwood Hotel, have they confirmed with the people who were in attendance that they came for this event? And if that's the case, what then is their case that suggests that this person benefited unduly if they used that money for the same event that the company was contracted for? So if Makhudu Sefara is willing to come on the show, we'll bring him on the radio, but we've sent the request already.